Welcome to Cancun, Baltimore Ravens. We'll talk about this coming up next on the Wincinnati Podcast.
It's an exciting time to be a Bengals fan.
Welcome to the Wincinnati Podcast. I'm Ace. He's Zim. Zim, you feeling good today, bro? It's a little Cancun action. We out here in Cancun. We had a new arrival last night with the Ravens coming on over to Cancun. How you doing tonight, bro?
I heard about that, so I'm feeling pretty good. I was a little shocked that some of the purple people, they weren't so happy about the all inclusive that we was rolling out for them last night on the timeline. So we letting them guys join us out there in Cancun. But this is a Raven Killer episode right here, so I'm really excited about that, and I'm happy to be here, man.
It is a Raven Killer episode. The timing of this is just kind of crazy right now. But today we're going to talk about the divisional recap. We're going to talk about that. Also, Bengals defensive coordinator search is still ongoing. We'll talk about that. And of course, we have the legend, AJ Green, joining us live on the Wincinnati Podcast.
Hey, what's up, Bengals fans? Mike here. I'm on the Wincinnati Pod with Ace and Zim.
Without further ado, we got to bring in the GOAT, the Raven Killer, AJ Green. What's happening, bro?
Chilling, man. Appreciate y'all boys having me, man.
Yes, sir. It's always a pleasure, man. We were just talking to you backstage. Yeah. We was telling everybody, we were talking to you about like how you did that episode with us it was a crazy time around there too. It was a lot going on in the country too. So I've always been very, very appreciative. And I'm happy to have you back on here.
No, always, man. Now, like I said, I love what y'all doing, man. Just happy to be a part of this.
For sure, bro. So everybody wants to know, bro, what you been up to in retirement?
Man, so I got two boys. So right now I'm just coaching their teams, man. I got a 5-year-old, and an 8-year-old. So they both in basketball right now. And then my oldest, he just started playing. His travel ball team just started. So we just had practice Friday for like 3.5 hours. So keeping me busy, playing a lot of golf, hanging with the wife, hanging with the family, man. So it's been good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He got that hezzy going.
Yeah, he got that hezzy. He nice. He he wants to do everything: football, basketball, baseball. So I just let him do all three right now, and he's loving it. He's loving it.
It's crazy when I watch, we were talking about some stuff, how, you peep some stuff on the gram and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's wild because Bengals fans have watched your family like grow too the same way. And, you share some clips and stuff too. I could tell he got it in him. He's athletic. Very athletic also is Jamar Chase. He's been out on the golf course lately. You just talked about golfing. I want to bring that back to right now. Jamar Chase, Cincinnati Bengal, Triple Crown, 24 years old. Yeah. Talk to me about that. Like, what is your overall take on Jamar Chase right now?
Man, he is. I haven't seen nobody like him in person. Like what he does with the ball in his hands. You know what I mean? Because he can just take it to the house at any point. Any point he get the ball in his hands. So just watching him play, how strong. You don't really see a guy like that with great hands who can make people miss, but he has great hands, man. Great ball skills, great running after the catch, great route running. He's just a complete receiver. He's just you can't stop him. You can't stop him. And when the way Joe is playing and you got T on the other side, man, I hope that trio can't break up, man. You can't break those three up like that. So
Nah, I'm with you, brother. Bengals obviously had a trip to the Super Bowl in 2021. We wish you were there. What were your thoughts on them getting to the Super Bowl and that run that they had with Joe?
Oh man, it was big for the city. Andy, I couldn't do that, but I think the city deserved it because people don't understand. We're not a big market team, not a big market city. So to have them to get that recognition for the city and Mike Brown, I know people like Mike Brown this, Mike Brown that. Mike Brown, the nicest guy I ever met, man. The best dude who wants to win and all that stuff like that. People don't understand what goes into, that stuff, building a team like that. And I think Zach's done a great job putting the team together. I think people think their window's closed. I think as long as you got Joe out there, T and Jamal, the window's always open. So
I had a question for Mike Brown. I feel like you know my notes. Hey, look, check this out. I wanted to ask you this. Your observation and your conversations with Mike Brown are conversations that people that are watching the Bengals never have. Right. Expand on the part where you're saying Mike Brown wanted to win. My question too, in that same breath, was when you were there, what do you feel like? I know you don't speak out that much when you were there, but what did you want the Bengals to do at the time that you felt would get the Bengals over the hump?
The crazy thing, I think we had the team. We just, that year, with that 15 when Andy got hurt and AJ McCarron came, I feel like Andy was having an MVP season that season. And I felt like when we had Marvin Jones, we had Mo Sanu, we had Vontaze, I think that was the year that we should have went somewhere in the playoffs. But, Andy got hurt and then AJ had to come and play. AJ did a great job, and I felt like we should have won that game, that Steelers game, but we had some questionable calls that didn't go our way. But it's so hard to be like, I've been on both sides now. Now I'm a fan. So looking at it, like, people don't understand, you got salary cap, you got players want to get paid. You got to balance that. So you can't have the best of the best all the time. You got to make do. You got to draft well. You got to do the little things. I think that what fans don't get is like, oh, we want to pay this guy. But you can't pay this guy when you got to pay Jamar. You got to pay Joe. You're going to have to get a defensive end or defense or draft well. So you don't want to let Trey go. He led the lead in sacks. That's kind of hard. So you got Trey, T, and all those guys coming up for a payday. So it's a balance. And I got my GM hat on, so I understand. I feel like I could be a GM, but it's hard to freaking balance the money and talent and making everybody happy and then building a winning team. So it's tough.
So when you were there, you never really had like a hard stance to say, look, this is what I think. You just believe, like,
yeah, that's what I get paid to play football. I don't get paid to make those decisions. But I felt like we had enough talent to go far. You know what I mean? So
no, we definitely did. You brought up your trio. I want you to rank your Bengals receiver trios of all time.
Man, it's hard. I don't like putting myself in that situation. So I'm gonna go Chad, Chris, and TJ, and then Jamar and T. They a trio themselves. They don't, and then TB. So I put those trio, and then I'll put us last. Since we're the older, I don't like to put myself all in there. So, but one thing about the Bengals, we know how to draft receivers. We know how to draft receivers.
All right. So you didn't want to put yourself in there. All right, cool. Currently playing right now. Let me take it the next step. Currently right now, you talked about Jamar. One of my arguments before the season was Jamar Chase is one of the few wide receivers that I feel can run every route tree, gives you the yak, all these different things. And to me, that's why I had him above like a Tyreek Hill, or why I had him above like other guys before the season. Mm-hmm. He wins the Triple Crown. I think most people would say he's the number one now. Everybody has their own criteria, but I want to know, what is your top 5 of current wide receivers playing in the National Football League?
Man, it's so tough because everybody's playing. If you're number one on the team, you're gonna get 1,000 yards. So, like, no order. It's Justin, Chase. I got to put my guy Mike Evans up there.
Yeah.
What he's done these last 10, 11 years is unbelievable. Who else? Man, dang, so many guys. Whew. I got to put Puka in there. He's playing well. Got to put Tyreek in there. He's playing well. How many is that? That's 4?
That's 5.
That's 5. Yeah.
That's 5 because you put Tyreek in there and Puka. I love Puka's game. I feel like
tough, man.
He's so strong. He's so much stronger than what people think.
So tough, man, and you can't. he's not fast. He's not this. He's not that. But you watch him play, man. He's like a Anquan Bolden. You know, the guys that's gonna get open. He's gonna make all the tough catches, and he just does his job. So.
Nah, that's real. Did you anticipate this version of Burrow that just went out here, went crazy? Did you anticipate this kind of being the future for him? And when you were there, how was he like in the huddle?
Yeah, of course. I could tell one of the first time I ever met him, he was going to be a great player because the way he worked, the way, you know, he just had that leadership about him. You know, he stepped in the huddle, you knew it was his huddle. You know what I mean? It's not a lot of people who have that, you know, Tom Brady, the Peyton Mannings, the Andrew Lucks, and the, you know, people that have been in that, I've been in the huddle with, you know, Andy. Those guys command the freaking huddle, you know. I tell everybody, Andy's probably one of the smartest quarterbacks I ever played with. And Joe is the same way. Joe is unbelievable, dialing up stuff. You know what I mean? He knows what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. If you watch this season, you know, he looked like Tom Brady out there. Like, he knows the check downs. He knows how to take the big plays when it's there. Just watching him play and watching him grow, he's going to be, you know, top 3 quarterback right now. If we had a winning season, he would have probably been the MVP.
For sure. when you think about like that at the beginning, like one of my favorite games that I like to, you know me, I like to like remind people about every damn thing that the Bengals have ever done. One of my favorite games, and it's crazy, I feel like we were robbed, is Joe Burrow's first game ever. And they called you for a push off.
Yeah.
Like, walk me through that game. Like, I think the average person, a lot of people don't remember that game.
Yeah,
you know me, I hype it up. I'd be like, bro, we fresh out of COVID.
Yeah. That was the Chargers game. That was against my boy. That's one of my guys, Casey Hayward. He lives right behind me. But it was just a bang bang play, and I felt like we were both hand fighting and just a tough call. And then after that, you know, it goes on that season. Joe gets hurt. But you know, it happens like that. Like, he's grabbing me. So I did have a little extension right there. So it's like,
nah, man,
we can't do that. Nah, bro.
But talk to me about that huddle though. Like, this is his first game. It's an empty stadium. Like, what was that like? Like, you know, he doesn't have a mentor. Like, what was the conversations on that drive? Is that like part of
there's no conversation, and we just go out there and play. You know, we prepare for these moments all week. So when the time comes, it's like second nature. You just go out there and play, and you have confidence in your preparation, and we execute it. I just had a little extension on that. So it's a tough call, but you know, it happens like that.
So you talk about getting back to your sons and everything, and me and Zen, we got our sons in basketball, so it's different these days, bro. Because like all these kids are in training at young ages, they got trainers and all of that. Like, what has that been like from that side of just pushing them, but knowing that you've been at the pinnacle of professional sports?
Yeah,
how do you balance that with being a father?
I just let them have fun. You know, I've been in it. I did it. You know, I did it at the highest level. So I feel like I know what it takes to get to the next level. So for them, man, I don't ever push them to do anything. You know, they're gonna work their butt off, but it's not, AJ, I want you to be a football player. I want you to be a receiver. So I'm gonna get you the best trainer, or I'm gonna train you. But no, let them have fun. Like I said, my oldest plays travel baseball at one of the best places, East Cobb Baseball, and he's doing well. And he plays baseball in baseball season, plays football in football season, plays basketball in basketball season. Same as my youngest, football, basketball, baseball during the season. And we take it like that. You know, once they get a little older to where they can hone in on whatever they want to do, then we make those different choices of like, we want to do football and basketball, because it's gonna be hard to do 3. But if you can do 3, I'm all for it. And
Dion over there, you raising some little Dions.
Right. So I feel like the more you can do, getting your body moving in different, you know, places, different movements, is all better for one sports, whatever you're gonna do. So
you said you coach those teams too, right?
Yeah.
One of your sons.
Well, I trade off. So I coached my youngest baseball team last year, but I can't coach this year because I help coach my oldest baseball team. But I coach my oldest football team, and then I don't coach them in basketball right now. But I do stuff around the house with them.
I know you got a jumper though. I know you was like that.
Basketball was my first love, so that's my thing.
The reason I asked you that too is because TJ is also TJ Houshmandzadeh. He's a friend of the show too. Mm-hmm. He coaches wide receivers like no other right now. Yeah. Have you ever thought about it? Like a lot of people don't get a chance to hear you talk. And I know you know the game of football, mm-hmm. and you know the wide receiver position. Yeah. Have you ever thought about like getting yourself out there and coaching those young men and getting the wide receivers ready for the NFL?
I don't think I'll go as extent as what TJ's doing, but I still got my guys. I got guys that I talk to all the time. I got my receiver coaches here. His name is Tony Ball. Probably one of the best receiver coaches I ever had in my life. And so if a young guy ever come to me, I always ship them to him because he knows the ins and outs and everything. He taught me everything I knew. But for me to get on the schedule, the not right now. But if a young guy come to me like, AJ, I want you to help me out with this. Of course, I'll come out to a field and help. But to have a schedule and doing not right now. I'm too involved with my boys to be on a schedule like that right now.
No, I respect that for sure. How do you think? Obviously, the Bengals fell under expectations this year, going 9-8. After before Joe got hurt last season, they went to 2 straight AFC championships. How do you think they can fix this team, and what would you kind of suggest they do to try to improve?
Man, for them, I think it just starting the season off a little better. I think we put ourselves in a hole early in the season, and a lot of people said winning football is not start to November, December. But those 2 games against Washington and not even Washington, freaking the Patriots, that would have put us in the playoffs. So that's the thing. So starting off a little faster, but it's the NFL, man. You never know. Like nobody had Washington going into a championship game. You don't know. It's just you got, and then you watching the Rams. They caught fire at the end of the season, and probably should have won that game. Right. Should have won that game if they didn't have those 2 turnovers. But it's so weak. It's so week to week with this league, man, because the talent is so even right now. That's one thing that makes NFL so great. It's the salary cap. Most of the teams are even. There's no really powerhouse. So for us, I think of course, work out the Jamar and T and Trey situation. So we go in there with a clear mind, with nobody mad or anybody holding out. And then you just go from there because you have your core pieces. I think you can put little pieces around them and be a great team.
To me, that's what makes the Bengals special. Like I grew up my whole life. Like, I mean, me and Ace, we watch wide receivers when it's college scouting time. Yeah. We're Bengals fans. Like if you're an older Bengal fan, you was talking, Eddie Brown. Isaac Curtis. So this is AJ Green. So this is all a part of like who we are to me. Yeah. What do you say to the person? Because you said this earlier in the show. Mm-hmm. You said that you think Tee Higgins should get re-signed and Jamar Chase, and you just said it was part of the core. Yeah. There's a lot of people that feel as though you can't win a championship if you're paying Tee Higgins and Jamar Chase that level of money. Do you see the validity to it? I know you talked about your GM hat.
Yeah, I think where the salary cap is going is flexible. We're getting more money, bigger TV deals. I feel like the cap is going to get bigger. Joe is going into his second year of his deal, so his cap's going to be a little lower than it was the previous year. And then I feel like you just front load a lot of their contracts. You can work it out. Look at the Eagles. How many superstars they got on their team? So if they can do it, I know we can do it. But I think we'd be fine, man. I think for T, if T wants to go somewhere because he wants to be the true number one, but he's a one, and they both number ones. I feel like him and Jamar, wherever they go, T will be number one. It's just week to week with them. You know what I mean? So I feel like if T's willing to, he wants to be there, I think you can make it work. But I understand. I also understand the business side of it because I know he's earned every bit of his money. You know what I mean? So.
Nah, for sure. Last time you was here, you had this legendary playlist. I think you said your trainer was making the playlist. Got to know what you got in rotation these days.
Oh man, the crazy thing, me and my wife and I, we just went to the Wayne concert on Saturday. So right now it's probably Future and Kendrick. Future and Kendrick probably. That's what I'm bumping right now. Future and Kendrick.
You going to the Super Bowl?
I don't know yet. I might have some stuff to do, but I don't know yet. I don't even know yet.
You know we're around, so you just want to give away some tickets or something like that. You just
I don't even get tickets no more.
Oh, what?
They don't give me tickets no more. No,
that's crazy.
If I go with one of the brands and something like that, then they're
and you got work. You got work.
I don't really want to be in that.
Come on, NFL, y'all gotta take care of the GOAT. That's crazy.
I'd rather be home anyway. You know me, I'm a homebody watching the game. So
yeah, it's always good in the comfort of your own home. I was gonna say, like moving forward to, is there anything that you feel as though like the Bengals like that you see on an every week basis that you watch and just say, man, I wish that they would do more of this? Or do you, like, I know you're so like you're so political with it, but like, do you ever just watch it and just be like, man, like this is what we would have did, or like this is a play we would have called, like this is something we should do.
The crazy thing about it, man, like people like the fans don't know what goes into it. Like I've been in those locker rooms, so it's so hard. It's so hard to make everybody happy. But I feel like what the Bengals doing now, they're doing way more than what I would when I was there. So I think that's the joke. The locker room's nice. They got to endure. They do a lot of media stuff. I feel like the Katie and her daughters, they're doing a great job right now with the media and how they have the fan interactions with the players. And I think they got a new locker room. They got their training room. We didn't have all that nice stuff like that. I feel like they're getting to where other people are now, and they're moving in a great direction. I'm like I tell you, man, people give Mike Brown the slack, man, but I sat in this office and watched this man talk, and I've been in situation with him when I know he wants to win. There's no owner is going to be out there in 5-degree weather on a golf cart just watching us practice. You know what I mean? So with my whole contract situation, never had a problem with Mike Brown. He always told me that deal is going to get done no matter what. So
I wanted to ask you that too. Tee Higgins, with his contract situation, he was tagged this past year. Mm-hmm. There's a chance that he could get tagged. There's a negotiation ploy or whatever. Talk to to the people about like what was that like? Was there a lot of pressure on you at that time? I remember, that's when we did the interview. You might have signed. He probably did the tag like somewhere like
he said I think his exact words was like, your wife was like, go and get that bag.
Go get that bag. Get a tag at that time. I mean, it's raised probably like $5 million more for a wide receiver.
Right. So for me, it was, I already played through my first deal. So money was not the motivation for me. I had enough money. Even when my contract was, money was never the motivation for me to play. I felt like I did right by this game, and the game, if you do right by the game, you don't take no shortcuts, you work your butt off, it's going to repay you somehow. Might not look like at that time, but if you're good to this game going to be good to you. And for me, when I contract situations, of course they offer me stuff, but I'm like, I'm year 10 coming off an injury. Like what's going on? I'm just trying to go play. And whatever happens. I played 10 years in Cincinnati. So for me, man, I'm like, just whatever happens is gonna happen. Cincinnati will always be home. If I go play somewhere else, and I did, for me. But I think I gave everything I had to this game, and I did it the right way I felt like. So I got no regrets. I had no regrets signing that tag. I had no regrets going to Arizona. I had no regrets retiring. I still don't have no regrets. I'm happy, and I can go watch the game and not feel like I left stuff out there. So for me, it's just what it is. Like I tell T, I talk to T. He wants to get in golf, but we don't ever talk about the contract situation because I know how touchy that is. Because I'll be like, oh, you're gonna ask me questions about this, about that. But I'm like, nah, just go out there, whatever make you feel good.
Hold up. Hear me out now. Hold on now.
I got you.
You could throw a little word in for us now.
Yeah, but I don't want to
be a lot on this show.
I don't know because I don't know the money on the table. I don't know. I don't know what he deserved, man. The guy been playing. He is a true number one as well. That's the crazy thing. He's a true number one as well. Sure. And if he got number one numbers here, but if he wants to go somewhere and want to try to get a triple crown like Jamar, then
crazy.
I wouldn't fault him for that. But he has a great quarterback. When you find a great quarterback to play with, I'm telling you, you better stick with him.
Nah, for sure. I remember you told Allen Robinson that a long time ago, man.
I'm telling you that I tell all my young guys that if you got a young quarterback who you can build with, you better build with him.
For sure. Talk to me about the 1-day contract, bro, because I thought that was dope for them to make sure that you retired a Bengal. Talk about like how that came about and what that moment was like for you.
You know, from day one, I always, picture myself playing for one organization my whole career. Fortunately, that didn't happen, but I played 10 years. That's a lot better than a lot of people can say. And, even I love my time in Arizona. We still got a house in Arizona. Love Arizona. But what the city of Cincinnati meant to me, what they did for my family, it changed my life basically. And, both my boys born in Cincinnati. Everything, my whole life was in Cincinnati. Got married, got kids. My kids grew up there, and it was home. And to this day, my boys, where y'all from? They from Cincinnati, Ohio. That's what they tell everybody that. So it was only right that I go back home. Go back there and retire a Bengal. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask you this too. We've had, there's been some trouble players and stuff like that. We've had it with the Cincinnati Bengals, like, throughout the years. Currently, right now, we got a wide receiver that, is going through some stuff and off the field, whatever. Is there something like, I know you're not on the team, but there, for a guy, I always tell people one thing about, AJ Green to me, I feel like you're synonymous or symbolic for like this is the way you should go about your business. Like out of everybody, there's nobody could take that away from you at any point. I'm sure some weirdo online that could say something stupid, I'm sure. But you know what I mean? Like when I tell my son about like AJ Green, like you were the first person first player he knew. When I talk to anybody about like, this is what it's like to be a professional. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think part of your personality is just going to be like that for you because your parents just raised you the correct way. But when you see someone that's having problems like that or trouble, and then this one is with, Cincinnati Bengals and Jermaine Burton, is there something that you would say to him if you were on the team, or is there like something that you feel like you could do to help that young man out?
Man, you just got to find that person you look up to. And that's what I did. I had Calvin in my corner, Calvin Johnson, I had Larry, I had guys I talked to, but also my family, my mom, my dad. That's the way I brought up. Like nobody's you're better than nobody. Treat everybody as, equal. But for that situation, man, it's a lot because you're in the locker room with guys that come from different backgrounds. You don't know what they went through or what they did to get here. So for somebody like that, man, just trying to, understand where he's coming from. Why is he acting that way? Like asking those questions, not like, oh, I'm gonna punish him. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why? Like, what's your thought process through what you make those decisions? That's not, not good decisions. And of course, people are gonna make mistakes. We are human. But like I tell, my boys all the time, man, don't make those mistakes that's gonna change your life. You know what I mean? So you're gonna make mistakes, but don't minimize them to where you're not gonna be down the road regretting that decision that you made. But for him, man, it's just like finding somebody he look up to. Maybe T. Maybe I know T is one of the Jamal. I don't know Jamal personally like that, but I know TB. When TB came in, I took TB under my wing to show him the way, and I knew from day one that this guy's gonna work his butt off, and he's gonna get an opportunity to be one of the best receivers, and he did. He showed it for a long time. But I think he has to make that decision, and then he has to have somebody asking questions like, why is he doing this? Like, what is his thought process going through the situation? So for me, man, you got to find somebody he looks up to for him to respect their opinion enough to not get mad at him. You know what I mean? So
for sure. Well, AJ, we appreciate you being so generous with your time, bro.
Always, man.
Wish you and the boys and the wife nothing but the best, bro. We again appreciate you for supporting the brand.
Yep.
We hope that you have a wonderful time, bro.
Yeah, man, appreciate it, man. Y'all let me know if y'all ever want me back on this thing, man. So
we can do a segment. We can bring out wide receivers. We can do it. I don't know. You're a busy man. Me.
Man, during baseball season, then I'm a busy man. But look, I definitely make time for y'all.
How long? I probably had your number for probably I don't know how many years. I'll be telling you every time. I'll be like, bro, I'm not trying to bother you. I know
you're all right. Like, you even got to say that. You like, hey, I want you to come on the show. I'm like, all right, cool. Just let me get your time and place.
Nah, I don't know, bro. You're the GOAT to me. I just want to say that. I did want to say this one thing though. Mm-hmm. I want you to be able to tell people, because you don't talk to the people that often.
Yeah.
Before you go, time goes by, people get forgotten, and all these different things. All these wide receivers come and go. They talk to Jamar Chase so much that they don't even say AJ Green's name as much.
Yeah.
What do you want people to know about you, or what do you want your legacy to be in terms of football, Bengals, or just the life that of AJ Green? Like, what is that?
Man, for me, like, football was always my passion. For me, it's just like not what I done on the field, what I did off the field. You know, how I treated people. Everybody can go pull up highlights and watch me play and knew I was a great receiver, but do you know me personally? How did he treat that person who was not as good? How did he treat the coaches or the lunch people or the people in the community? And that's all I care about. You know, people like you said, receivers gonna come and go. Jamar's going. It was Ocho, then me, and then now Jamar, and I'm fine with that. Like, I don't ever feel like I'll never be a hater of none of the young generation, because I know they unbelievable. They put in the work just like I did. You know what I mean? So I don't ever want to feel like, oh, they don't talk about me that much. No, I'm happy. I'm very happy who I am and what I did in the NFL. And I feel like a lot of people not. But if you are comfortable who you are and what you did for this game, you never be forgotten. And I think that's my legacy. So
for sure. I'm telling you, I told you why I started my social media campaigns and everything. It was always you. I got the chain. One time, when I see you, the next time I see you, I'm gonna actually show you what's on the back of that chain, though.
Yeah, you never showed me what's on the back. So. Because
my plan was, when the Bengals win the Super Bowl, I was going to show you.
Okay.
So I'm a little delayed.
Yeah, you're a little delayed, but I think we got to get these contracts out the way before we can.
Yeah, we got to get those hammered out, bro.
Got to get these things hammered out before the season starts, because we don't need no distraction. The league's getting better.
Yes. That was a big factor in everything. You've been generous with your time, man. Yeah. I appreciate you as always.
Always.
You know, my favorite player for life, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Who they, and keep on doing what you do. Keep on raising them right, man. We appreciate you.
Always, man. Who they?
Man, the legend, the man himself, AJ Green, man, joined us.
Oh my God.
Crazy, bro. It's crazy. As you guys know, this show is powered to you by BETUS. Make sure that you lock in with them. They got the casino going on right now. Make sure you take full advantage of that, whatever it is that you like, blackjack, roulette, they got it all over there. Make sure you tap in with them. They also, if you're betting on the college championship tonight, make sure you make that bet with BETUS. We appreciate them for sponsoring the show. Bengals made a hire today.
Before you say that, can I just say thank you, everybody? I know the national championship game is going on. We had to make sure we schedule how we going to schedule. We appreciate y'all rocking. We got 2,000 people in here live. If you are on X right now and you support us, please come on over to YouTube on Wincinnati. Please go to YouTube and go to Wincinnati Pod. Subscribe, cut on alerts. I promise you, the big time whoever, they don't retweet us. They don't tell people about our stuff. We only rely on the people. AJ Greens of the world represents the people, and he always rock with us, and he always has been gracious with his time and different things like that. And we're able to connect with people like that on the strength of you guys. So if you ever say that you want to support Ace and Zim, Wincinnati, or just Bengals coverage in general, there's a million good pods. Please come on over to YouTube and subscribe and cut on alerts. My bad, partner. Go ahead and say what
you're good, bro. The Bengals subscribed to a new offensive line coach today and a new assistant. They hired Scott Peters, a guy that was a disciple of Bill Callahan. So they once again pulled from the Callahan tree. They did that with Frank Pollock. Now they have him. He recently was with the New England Patriots, and he had his assistant offensive line coach over there. Scott Peters is introduced today as the offensive line coach. A lot of people like him because, as our other good friend of the show, Willie Anderson, said, that he comes from that training regimen, similar to Willie Anderson. So this is not just a guy that's just an offensive line coach. This is a guy that's worked with development technique. He's done a lot of the out of the box, up to date kind of things in terms of using analytics and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on the hire? Because I'm going to be honest, like I feel like people that know offensive line really like the hire. There are a certain segment of people that are just strictly going off of what New England was. The offensive line, if you don't know, ranked close to last in terms of PFF. So I got to be fair and put that out there, and run blocking and pass blocking. But to me, it seems like people that know O-line are like, this is a slam dunk. Willie Anderson, Jim McNally, like a lot of people are stepping up and saying this is a great move for the Bengals. What are your thoughts on it?
I was surprised. I didn't even notice. I didn't know Jim McNally was on X. I didn't know this, and he was following me and stuff, and I saw the tweet and everything like that, and I didn't even notice, but he wasn't the only one too. Like you said, there's a lot of offensive line gurus. There are some questions that I do have, but I did go take a look at different things that he did on the internet, whether it was the martial arts background, whether it was with his time with the Browns, but more importantly, when he was with Callahan, they developed like their own terminology on a lot of different concepts. Like they got these videos up where they're breaking down different portions of different angles that they want blockers to go into, different ways to engage with defenders. And it's really cool stuff if you get a chance to go check it out online. I feel like him having the ties with Callahan, who I regard as one of the best offensive line gurus in the world, you know, I think that says something. I wouldn't buy into the Patriots stuff as much. You're talking about two 6-rounders, bad roster. You know what I mean? Like anybody with a bad roster, like right now, you know, it's just hard to gauge in this league because, like AJ was just saying, it's like week to week. Yeah. You could have an average offensive line and then go up against T.J. Watt, Nate Herbig, and Highsmith or something and cook all them dudes. So it's hard for me to gauge him with a bad team. I do know he had them looking good with the offensive line with the Browns. There are a lot of different videos, like I said, that I saw that I checked out that I liked a lot. He was a former player for 7 years from 2002 to 2008. And just so I give people the timeline, he was the Browns' assistant offensive line coach from 2020 to 2023. He was only the Patriots' offensive line coach this past year, where yes, they were 31st in run blocking and 32nd, I think, in pass pro. Mike Onwenu, I never could pronounce bro name. Mm-hmm. Oh, the dude that we wanted in free agency, he actually regressed and had his worst season to date this past season. But me personally, I don't buy into that as much.
But you also had to be fair and talk about like the bright side, right? He was a part of some of those Browns units. And to tie this all back, this is a full circle moment for me because a lot of people wondered what was the moment that made Ace like so gung-ho about Penei Sewell, right? About offensive line and everything like that. To me, it was actually Scott Peters being there in 2020. I remember watching the Bengals versus the Browns and just watching the tape. I was watching it just to see the All-22. And what stuck out to me was just how ferocious and how physical the Browns offensive line was back then. It was like they were just seeking out people to just do what Frank Pollock said, be glass eaters and just bully people. And listening and doing the research on Scott Peters, his mentality, I can see how that lined up with that because he was there in 2020, right? When they transferred over into that kind of era. And you talk about 2021, 2022, like that's when they were dominant as an offensive line. And that was honestly like the best part of the Browns. I know people saw OBJ and all of these other people and Nick Chubb and all of that, but like the offensive line, him having his input on it is what made them so great. And I feel like if he can bring that to Cincinnati, I think you're gonna see a personnel change. I'm gonna just say that. Like it's a mindset, it's a mentality. I think it's something that Orlando Brown Jr. can bring. I think it's something that's gonna make Mims even more physical. And I think that that's what we need here in the AFC North. So them bringing him in, I think it's cool. I'm like you said, especially with us talking to so many players, like we know the importance of players. A lot of people try to act like it's about the front of the jersey and not the back. And sometimes it is, but a lot of the names on the back make a lot of coaches look better than they really are. And sometimes you can't do anything if you don't have that. If you got Michael Jordan as a starter on your offensive line, we've seen what that looks like firsthand. So, I mean, to expect people to be able to turn something into that, I don't see it. And I'm going to give this guy a fair shot. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm some offensive line guru because I'm not. So if this dude knows more about offensive line and it just leads to Joe Burrow not being hit as much, that's what does it for me. And I think earlier I was saying this, we kind of talked about like the most sought after job is the Bengals defensive coordinator job, right? I personally think the hardest job in football is offensive line coach for the Cincinnati Bengals because of the system that they like to run
specifically for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Specifically for the Cincinnati Bengals, the system that they like to run here, Joe Burrow wanting to always extend the play, like you're going to be up under a microscope because if Joe Burrow gets hit too many times, like we're on you. Like, and you have to make it work with your system and everything. I think it's actually the hardest job right now on the offensive side in sports right now.
I would agree. I mean, I think that also, I don't know. This was like a de facto type of title that Frank Pollack got as run game coordinator. I don't know if they really legit had a real like run game coordinator, but you know, this guy comes with an assistant offensive line coach with him as well. I did have a number that I wanted to tell you too, though, because he did as far as like quarterbacks getting hit. I had it pulled up. I might have to come back to this one though, because they did come back at the end of the season last year, and it actually graded, I believe, 13th in top 6 in terms of once they switched over to Drake May. But the amount of quarterback hits taken, I had a good stat I wanted to piggyback off of the point that you just made. But I don't know. It's not the slam dunk name, I think, and that's what a lot of people are saying. Most of the people that I see that have a take are generally people that probably didn't even know who he was yesterday. You know what I mean? So it's not a slam dunk name. Like when I get to the college portion, the defensive coordinator portion, I don't know why I keep on saying this now, but Dennis Allen was a guy that I really, really wanted. To me, that would be a slam dunk name, you know, a person that you could trust, different things like that. And I have my reasons. I will say for him, the difference is, and everybody is, including Coach McNally, has talked about how he works with young players. And I think that was the key point of us bringing anybody on. And then also him being hands-on. Frank Pollack, I ain't saying, you know, remember when he first came to Bengals, it was Frank the Tank. You know, Frank been here some time now. Like, Frank ain't really just about to baby anybody around. And you know, Mims is a guy, he's just the biggest person on earth. It ain't really too much you could tell somebody about their size. You tell them how to use their size, but, you know, he's going to cook regardless. But I feel like this guy with the martial arts background, using your hands, getting off of stuff, being able to be quicker with your hands, I think is going to go a long way. One of my good friends of the show, Mike Eversole, me and Ryan know very well. He's always talked about using his hand-to-hand combat in the trenches and stuff like that. So I just thought that was very interesting. I don't have a hot or cold take on it. I do think that it's a good hire for me right now, but this league is always wait and see. You do make a good point, because if anybody gets Joe Burrow hit, the whole city, we going up and we're going to go find them, and it's going to be a problem. Speaking of that, do you know that they found some suspects for the people that broke into Joe Burrow's house?
Yeah, bro, that's insane. I'm waiting to see more of the details, but that's insane.
We didn't really talk. We didn't even talk about that on the show, did we?
We really didn't. Now that I think about it,
I read a storyline. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it said that the people might have knew Joe Burrow too.
That's crazy. Well, we will have to see what those full details are. Definitely make sure that you guys are tapping in with the Wincinnati podcast. We're always live Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that you guys are locked in and rocking with us.
I think we got another guest coming up on Wednesday too.
We still haven't talked about Cancun yet. Outside of the opening, it's time. Isn't it time for? I mean, we just had the Raven Killer on. Lamar is 3-5. 3-5. That's is that good? I mean, how many wins in the playoffs does Joe Burrow have? 5? Is it reciprocals? I don't know. Does he still not have 3 losses? I don't know, man.
Hey, look.
Are the Ravens what are the Ravens the funniest thing about the Ravens is they always get all of this regular season hype, right? We do this same song and dance. Lamar's the MVP. Lamar is this and that. Lamar. And then when Lamar gets to the playoffs, it's a different story. It's turnovers. It's not coming through when you need to. Now, some of that was Mark Andrews, but that's just what it is to be a Raven. I mean, that's so Raven, is it not?
Can I put my hater glasses on real quick though? Cause actually, I keep my purple blockers on at all time. How about the ball placement on that throw wasn't really that great? 9 would have gave it to you in stride. I thought he had to come back to it.
He had to kind of turn around, you know.
I mean, anytime the ball hits you in your hands, you should catch it. I thought bro had to come back to it a little bit. I thought the ball placement was a little off though. He
also had a little fumble too. A little fumble here and there. I mean, I don't know, bro. I was told that this man can do it all. I was told that this man is better than Joe Burrow. I was told that the Ravens 2 years in a row, this is their year. I don't know, bro. Like, I'm gonna be real, and the crazy part is they fooled us. We picked the Ravens, so you can't even be on here as a Ravens fan saying like y'all are just some haters because we picked y'all. Like Josh Allen
did do that. That was nasty, bro.
Josh Allen. I don't even think Josh Allen threw for 200 yards in this game.
He didn't, bro. He had 90 yards going into like the fourth quarter, I believe, bro.
Josh Allen threw for 127 yards.
But bro, that's what I've been saying. But this is what I've been saying on the timeline. Like I said this on the show a million times. Until the Bengals get a competent run game, that's why I was asking AJ, like, you think you do it, you know, like anything different? You know, AJ just like, man, look, I'm just a ball player. But I don't feel like they had the run game that any of those teams had before. And that to me is a bigger reason why Burrow gets hit a lot. And you're watching these teams and everybody's like, yeah, but they got better guards and stuff. Let me ask y'all this. You think if the Bills drop off a guard, the Eagles drop off a guard, they're going to stop running the football? Like, say they had a bum guard for just a week, 2 bum guards. Like, 2 of them get hurt or something like that. You think they're going to stop running football? No. It's like who they are. Like, everybody's hiding behind that and saying, well, we need better guards to do. No, you don't. You need better guards to probably be like the most successful run game in the NFL. But in order to keep defenses honest, in order to protect Joe Burrow, you're watching all these teams beat people up front. And yes, we're going to throw it up and we're going to air it out every single week. But I thought the Bills, like, they knew that they were winning at the point of attack up front, like they've been doing the playoffs this whole time. Ravens did late in that game, but the Bills knew that they could limit possessions and run the football. There's no reason to give the Ravens to play into their hand. There was no reason to throw the ball down the field and get the ball tipped in the elements or anything like that. I'm just going to take control of the line of scrimmage. And now the Joe Burrow plan will be a little bit different. We'll take control when we want to take control. But, you know, Joe going to get shicey, going to throw it out, and then we get up on you. And then what Mixon used to do back then that we should do now is like close out games, like the Raiders game, 2021, you think about, and all these, the Bills playoff game. Those are games where you get a lead and then you close them out. And then you're not relying on this 40 dropbacks and Burrow getting smashed everything. Bro, both of them quarterbacks only threw 10 times like in the first half. You had to be a Bengals fan watching this and saying, like, you could say, yeah, none of these guys are better than Burrow. I get that. But that wasn't my takeaway. My takeaway was like, bro, you can't hit these dudes. Like, they don't even give you an opportunity. So I've been saying that since Burrow tore his ACL, bro. Until they get a competent run game, it's Burrow's always going to be at risk.
Yeah, man. I think looking at this, man, the Ravens are not. They're a regular season team, bro.
Two super teams.
They are now 0-23 over the last decade when losing by 11 points at halftime. I know I was putting out the memes and everything. You was like, bro, you gotta chill. I was like, nah, I'm not chilling because I know when the Ravens are down, when the Ravens get down, they are a team that does not know how to come back. And when they do try to come back, they start choking or they do something crazy on the way back. And so when I was tweeting that out, like the Ravens are dominant when they're able to get a lead and they're able to rely on the run and just run out the clock and rest on that lead, right? Lamar Jackson is able to convert it for a third and whatever. They used to be able to trust Justin Tucker. They can't do that now. Like they're still the same team. At their core, they try to play tough defense. The one thing I'll say about the Bills were hitting Lamar Jackson. Did you see that? Like anytime they got a chance to hit Lamar Jackson,
he took a nasty shot to his.
They hit him.
I was gonna say something. You were gonna pause me, so I couldn't finish the sentence. But he got hit, not in the front, but okay.
Yeah, they hit Lamar. They hit Lamar. I mean, bro, anytime that they needed to make a hit, they did it, and I think that they played physical. And I think that the Bills defense really outplayed the Baltimore Ravens defense with when they needed to. They did a great job. Like a lot isn't being said about Derrick Henry, what they did to him in the first half. Derrick Henry in the first half was averaging like 3.4 yards.
Who gave him that formula, bro? That's the
Bengals for sure.
Listen, the Bills gave the Bengals the formula for the end of eternity is Lamar Jackson is the quarterback. You could go into a shootout if you want, but what's the difference between our game and their game? The Bengals had sizable leads in both of those games. The first game, Bengals up 10 points with 5 minutes left, and then they let Lamar score on that crazy, he picks the ball up, whatever. You have to make him pay for his turnovers, right? You got to play sound football. And then remember the other time when we were up 21-7, remember when we were bombing back, we were scoring fast. Bill said, no. We're going to slow this game down. We're going to give you 2 more opportunities to cook us. If you don't win like that, you're not going to win the game. The Bengals, the last time that we played them, that's how it should have looked. With Lamar driving down the field to go score a 2-point conversion, and maybe he gets it, maybe he doesn't get that far, but that's the formula. You can't go into no shootout with that dude and then have them scrambling, getting pass interference call. I've never seen a quarterback throw to that many wide open wide receivers in the history of football. Like but the other thing you talked about Derrick Henry, the only way to beat him and to make him stop running is what I've always said when we first started this show: score points. When they had to throw the ball to Derrick Henry, he has blocks for hands. He is not a receiving threat. Bro comes out on every third down, just like Nicholas Chubb. All these guys that when our fan base was talking about pass blocking and pass pro, the best running backs in football aren't supreme pass pro guys, whatever. So, Saquon's pretty damn good. But all right, so look, but Derrick Henry comes off the field in those scenarios. That's the only way to beat him. If you give him 20-something carries, he's going to come back and get you at some point. You have to get up on him and take him off the field, and that's what happened.
And before we toss it to Midwest, man, when we had Joe Burrow in a similar situation where it was a game where he had an interception, a fumble, and stuff like that, we brought it up. We kind of talked about it like, Joe, you can't have any kind of turnovers or anything like that. Season on the line in a playoff game, I'm hearing people make excuses for Lamar Jackson after this man threw a horrible interception that was nowhere near any receiver. And then he also fumbled, which he's done a lot during the regular season as well, in a game that lost them the playoffs. Like, yes, there's the Mark Andrews fumble. Yes, there's the drop by Mark Andrews, but you're not even in that situation if you're not turning the ball over. And everybody knows in the NFL, when you lose the turnover battle, you're losing the game 80+% of the time. So to sit there and act like that doesn't matter with the playoff resume that Lamar Jackson has, he's not like, I'm like, if that was Joe, I'm saying the same thing. I'm not sitting there saying like, yeah, Joe's off the hook for this one. Like, nah,
Hey,
Like, they got to be real about it.
Let me just cook up real quick. Lamar Jackson is 0-5 when his opponent scores more than 14 points in the playoffs. You want to go to the sponsors?
Yeah, let's cook up. Let's cook up with Midwest Best Barbecue.
Wings and them CTVs. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. It's the AC to the Zim, M to the B's. Uno wings, G-Funk wings, and them CTVs. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Midwest Best is the place to be for curing wings. Say what up to Jordan Battle. We be going to battle. Intercepting balls like CTV did on Seattle. Putting 6 up on AZ. Juice gang amazing. Make sure you come get these wings, cause Zimby stay blazing. And T-Game be smooth as ice. Jamal making DBs fold. TV got big levels, and now you already know. So pretty for Uno wings. Cam got the new wings. We call them CTBs. Only at MBs. H to the Zim. M to the B's.
Shout out Midwest Best Barbecue. I heard they had a new wing. It's called the Po Wing. Heard that it's fried raven dipped in buffalo sauce. You know, 3 different flavors, 5 different seasonings. Shout out to Tim and Nicole, man. They were the first ones that hit us up talking about the Ravens taking that L. Make sure you slide through there, 669 Justice Court. Get you some CTB wings. Get you some Dillinator wings. They got the sour cream and onion. They got the Grippos. They got it all. Make sure you support them. And make sure that you visit Midwest Best Barbecue.
We're gonna have to get an AJ Green. We gotta talk to Tim and Nicole, because why we ain't got no AJ wing over there? We gotta call it the Raven Killer or something like that.
Raven Killer, yeah. We need some Raven Killers over there.
I should have asked AJ. I'd be like, bro, do you like your wing spicy or whatever? Because a name like a Raven Killer, it gotta be a spicy ass wing, right?
Yeah, Raven Killer gotta be like ghost pepper level, something crazy like that. But getting back into what we were talking about right now, national championship is going on right now. Bengals' future possible defensive coordinator could be literally coaching his last college game and possibly taking the Bengals position. We've got the offensive line stuff out there. Defensive coordinator could be wrapped up by tomorrow. Al Golden could be the name. I'm personally on the Patrick Graham train. But what are your thoughts on possibly having Al Golden or Graham or somebody else?
Graham might be cooked. Graham just is about to go and get his second interview for a head coaching gig for the Jags. So I find it hard to believe a guy in contention for head coaching and is looking like he's going to be the favorite to go get that gig.
He's the favorite to get the Jags job? So along with Robert Saleh, he's also getting a second.
Bro, he's like one of the finalists.
Okay, let me understand this. You got a candidate that's getting head coaching interviews, and you got another candidate that's not getting head coaching interviews, and they're possibly going with the other guy.
Hey man, I'm just telling you what the Adam Schefters and all those guys are reporting. Look,
with the streets,
I've been sold on Graham too. I feel like if the Bengals would have made a move or something like that, I feel like they would have did it. Now, mind you, we didn't hear much about the Peters name and all these different things. So Bengals keep everything in the tuck. So that's a whole nother story. But it does look like with the national championship game tonight, it does look like it's favoring Golden. Why else would you wait this late with the Senior Bowl coming up? So to me, it's looking like Golden, but the Bengals are doing a really good job of keeping it up. The other note that we had is Lou Anarumo now with the Colts. So all these different reports and all that Lou. I don't know if you saw this. Kelsey was on his show today and pretty much said, Lou is that guy. And then the brother, Jason Kelsey, said, they just didn't have the horses this past season. But that is a guy that took a bunch of interviews, didn't have any problem getting any gigs. And the reason why is because he had a lot of success against Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. And anybody that can consistently do that is going to get a job somewhere, period.
Nah, for sure. So, yeah, Lou will be taking over that Colts team. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. He's taking over for Gus Bradley. So, it's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, I know he's got a really good linebacker there. I think the Colts defense has been pretty solid. It's going to be interesting to see how that ends up playing out with Lou there. Be interesting to see if Al Golden is a guy as we record this while the national championship is going on. 2,300 of you guys here still rocking with us. So, man, we appreciate you guys so much for taking time out of your day to just be here with us. As I said again, Wincinnati Podcast is live every Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also want to give a shout out to Ryan handling things for us. This was a one-off. We appreciate you, bro. So if you guys are seeing the dope graphics and everything, make sure you guys thank Ryan because this show wouldn't be what it is without him. So shout out to Ryan once again. But Zim, was there anything that you wanted to say before we get up out of here?
Shout out to the GOAT, AJ Green. I know a lot of people are very quick to try to make us seem like less than for whatever reason out there in the world, but hopefully people get great insights from good shows that we had today, like the one that we just did with AJ Green. Not too many people get a chance to talk to AJ Green, so I'm really, really proud of that. This is our second one. If y'all ever want to go back and go watch the other one, you just put in Orange is the New Black. That was the one that really kind of catapulted me and Ace in this journey that we're on. I'm really, really appreciative of AJ Green. Like I said, that's a dude. When I got married, that was one of the first people that texted me and told me congrats. So that's who AJ Green is, and I just think that there's nothing that could change that ever. Where he's always going to be my favorite player, and Jamar Chase and all these other guys are great, but there's only one AJ Green, and I'm really, really appreciative of him coming on the show. And I want to emphasize this again. If you're watching this on X, if you're watching this on YouTube or Twitter, please make sure that you retweet this because a lot of people do not. We need all the fans of Bengals or whatever you represent or even other teams. Come on and subscribe. Come cook us in the comments. Do whatever you got to do. But come on over and subscribe, and we need your help more than ever. Even in this, of course, in the season we make the playoffs, it's hard to get people to watch the show too. So we have more interviews. We got a good interview coming up on Wednesday, so be on the lookout for that one. But also, it's very, very important that you know that me and Ace have been grinding doing this for a long time, as well as Ryan right here on the ones and twos. So please, please make sure you support. We need the people's help more than ever.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to AJ once again for joining the show. And there wouldn't be a Wincinnati without AJ Green. Like, Kyle putting us to this and taking the time out, like you said, bro. The most humblest dude ever. Dude could have, like, the fact that, like you said, reaching out to AJ and he just texted you back is still mind-blowing. Like, he could have been like, I'm not a Bengal anymore. Like, don't hit my line or anything like that. But he's just an amazing dude. So.
He says we for everything. He's a Bengal. He's been in Atlanta all that time too, so he could have easily been like saying, "Well, I'm rocking with the Falcons." You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. He
ain't lying though. Like on the Instagram and stuff, he be on there lurking and he laughs at some stuff. Then when I'm cooking people and stuff, like y'all be surprised. Like AJ, he's a cool.
You should have asked him about the Ravens, bro. How did we not ask him about the Ravens?
He's seen some of that stuff though. He some of that stuff that we was cooking on Twitter. Please make sure y'all go to Twitter on the timeline. I don't know. Hey, bro, we got to come up with a tag team because I swear you kind of jumped the gun. But when I came out there and I was like, hello? And it was sounding like, I was like, bro, I was just sitting in the cut like, bro, don't let them lose this game. And once it happens, everybody started adding me. It was like, where we at? And then I'm talking about, bro, that it goes crazy. I don't know. Like, I like the Hardy Boys or some. I need like somebody like that. I'm off the top rope with it.
Bomb.
Hey, yeah, like that shit I sent you yesterday. Hey, look, I'm off the top rope with it. Any team that talks trash about the Bengals all day on my timeline, I'm at your neck. I have no sympathy for you. I do not like your team. It's not personal. We just got cooked. We doing this for Wincinnati and all the people that we came up with. So we doing our thing. But God, what's going in?
Yes, sir. Thank you guys once again for listening to the Wincinnati podcast. We will see you guys on Wednesday.
It's an exciting time to be a